the early 1900s, Mikao Usui was a scholarly and spiritual man, deeply devoted to understanding the nature of healing and enlightenment. He was well read in Buddhist scriptures, Shinto practices, Chinese medicine, and even Christian texts. Some versions of the story suggest that he was inspired by a question from one of his students: how did Jesus perform healing? Can those methods be learned and practiced today? This question sparked a powerful inner calling. Determined to find the answer, Usui began a journey of spiritual seeking. He traveled across Japan and studied in Buddhist monasteries, immersing himself in sacred texts in search of ancient healing wisdom. Despite all his efforts, he found no clear path to the healing miracles described in ancient spiritual stories. Still determined, Usui retreated to Mount Kurama, a sacred mountain near Kyoto, known for centuries as a place of spiritual training. He planned a 21-day period of fasting, prayer, chanting, and meditation, hoping to receive divine guidance. On the 21st day, as the sun rose, Usui felt a sudden and overwhelming surge of energy strike the top of his head, a brilliant white light that seemed to fill his entire being. In that moment, he lost consciousness. While unconscious, he experienced a powerful spiritual vision. He saw sacred symbols, which would later become the Reiki symbols used in attunements and healing. He also received an intuitive understanding of how to access and channel a universal life force energy for healing purposes. This transmission was spontaneous, but complete. When he awoke, he felt filled with immense vitality and inner peace. As he descended the mountain, several events occurred that have become symbolic milestones in the Reiki tradition. In his haste, he stubbed his toe badly on a rock. Acting instinctively, he cupped his hands over it, and to his amazement, the pain quickly vanished. This was his first test of Reiki's power. He stopped at a small inn for food. The innkeeper's daughter was suffering from a toothache. Usui laid his hands on her jaw, and her pain faded. Again, Reiki had worked. Returning to Kyoto, Usui went to the beggar's quarter to offer free healing. He spent many weeks there, healing the sick and the poor. But later he noticed that many of those he had helped had returned to begging. When he asked why, they said it was easier to beg than to work. This troubled Usui deeply. He realized that healing the body alone was not enough. People also needed to heal spiritually and take responsibility for their lives. From that insight, he began teaching Reiki not just as a healing method, but as a spiritual path. He developed what became known as Reiki Ryoho, the Usui healing method, and included ethical principles to guide his students. These became the 5 Reiki principles. Usui began initiating students into Reiki, passing on the energy and teachings through a process called attunement. Before his death in 1926, he had taught over 2,000 students, and 16 were trained as masters to carry on his work. During one of his presentations, Usui met Chujiro Hayashi, a retired naval officer. Hayashi was so impressed by the Reiki healing technique that he became Usui's student, and Usui initiated him as a master and gave him the responsibility of preserving the Reiki essence intact after Usui's death. Hayashi opened a Reiki clinic in Tokyo and kept records of treatments that showed that Reiki found the source of physical symptoms, met energy needs, and restored the body to wholeness. He used this information to create the hand positions, the 3-degree system, and the initiation procedure. Sensing the approaching Great War, Hayashi decided to pass on the full teachings of Reiki to women in order to preserve them for longer. Hawayo Takada was chosen for this purpose. The daughter of Japanese immigrants to Hawaii, Takada went to Japan for treatment of a tumor. In the hospital, while preparing for surgery, she heard a voice saying that surgery was not necessary. She refused the operation and was taken to Dr. Hayashi's clinic. Within 4 months, she was completely healed and was asked to learn Reiki on her own. Takada stayed with Hayashi for a year, then returned to Hawaii. Hayashi visited Takada in Hawaii to help establish Reiki there and initiate her as his 13th and final master. Takada introduced Reiki to America. Feeling that the Japanese concept of respect would be difficult for the Western mind to appreciate, she decided to price the acquisition of a Reiki master at a very large sum, the equivalent of the average annual income, because it created an appreciation for Reiki that was needed in that part of the consumerist material world. Hayao Takada initiated 21 masters. They spread Reiki in Canada and the United States of America, and from there Reiki came to Europe. Hayao Takada was succeeded by her granddaughter Phyllis Lei Furumoto, who until recently was in charge of Reiki. After her death, her role was taken over by Johannes Reindl, who learned Reiki in 1995, became Phyllis's student in 2001, and was initiated as a master in 2017. The form of Reiki, known as the Usui Reiki system, has evolved since Takada's time. Both Hayashi and Takada have added several principles and healing modalities to the original system. As Reiki has become more widespread throughout the world, many masters have incorporated their own knowledge of healing skills to ensure the advancement of Reiki while honoring the original teachings of Usui.